Swim, bike, run, keeping it real with Garrick, Lowen, Jackson, Laundry, and Nicholas Chase. Plus everyone's favorite host, Lisa Becker-Rice. This is the Real Triathlon Podcast. Training, racing, no filter, all hard.
Welcome back to the Real Triathlon Podcast. I am joined today with Brad Miles, the co-founder, CEO. What's your title, Brad, at Lever Movement?
Co-founder, CEO sounds good.
Yeah, I've seen a few on your emails and stuff, but I wanted to see which one was really the one that matters.
I feel like they flow together these days. So co-founder, CEO works for me.
Yeah, it's all good. Well, first off, thanks for being here, and thanks for supporting Real Triathlon Squad and our entire community with, honestly, a really staggering discount for pro athletes, for our age group athletes who are racing, and of course, helping us do what we do, race around the globe, stay healthy in the same time, travel with your product. Like it's been so nice to have you guys on board, honestly, because it's not just something like I use when I'm injured. Like I use Lever all the time. But again, we'll get into all that. But before we talk about that, how are you doing, man? What's new? What's new for you?
What's new for me? I just moved last week. So that's been pretty busy. Just back to Colorado. We were in Texas for the last year and a half. And so
where in Texas were you?
We were in the Dallas area. Yeah. So I went up to Little Elm. Nice. We were like 20 minutes from the Little Elm race, 70.3. And so we were there for a year and a half. Are you getting my background noise a lot?
I can't hear a darn thing yet.
Okay. So let's keep rolling. That sounds good. But yeah, we had our third baby. My wife and I did, we had, we have a 6'4" and 2-year-old. And so when we had our third, we had to go near some help for a little bit. And so we moved from Colorado to Texas, about a year and a half ago or so. And now that he's 2, we're ready to fly. So we came back here. Lever's based out of the Boulder, Colorado area. So, came back to home pretty much. And so now running with the team again, full-time on site. And it's, you can't beat it. So I'm really happy and blessed to be back.
It's nice to be able to say you can just casually move back to Boulder. I know what that place is like right now. So you guys are doing something right. Good job. Congrats.
Dude, crazy story. We don't have to get into it, but the huge Marshall fire from a few years ago that wiped out like 1,100 homes. Oh. So we lost our home in that. So
I remember, I knew that too. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So when we lost our home in the fire, we were rebuilding it. And while we were rebuilding it, we took a year to live next to the in-laws in Dallas, which was a lot of fun. And we only had 2 kids at the time. And so we moved back here when the house was finished. Quickly had our third. We were like, what are we doing without help? So we just went back. We rented our house out though, and that's what made it so easy to come back. So over the last year and a half, it's been rented out, and now we're back in it. So it's great.
So rebuilding your home and coming back to it, it probably feels pretty good to get back into some roots that you've really familiar with.
Yeah, for sure. I missed a bunch of things and aspects about Colorado. I came back a lot for Lever. And so I was coming back at least a week, a month, if not more, to work on site with the team. But yeah, just the trails here, the environment, the cooler summers than Texas provides was helpful. Yes. So we're in early June right now, mid-June. And man, this summer's been beautiful so far. So can't complain.
So what is your day-to-day like at Lever? What kind of things are you particularly focused on?
Yeah, we're in a really fun intersection for the company right now. So we just finished 7 years. And I'd say over the last 7 years, we were really, really working hard just to prove the value of what we were doing. And so not many people know about the space that we're in. Like the typical term over the last couple of decades has been like body weight support, which is not sexy at all. But what we've seen over the last 7 years in providing one of the first consumer accessible body weight support products was that there is such a need for this type of device, not just with the high-end professional athlete, but for age groupers and for really anybody that wants to stay healthy and consistent in their training. And so we really started off with, as a company that helped people come back from injuries, but then quickly, once it was getting incorporated, like you mentioned earlier to kick off the pod, like it's been fun to see the performance side really blow up. And so what we're really focused on these next 7 years is a term called load management, and to help athletes throughout, doesn't matter who they are, manage the load and the stress on their body. And we want to do that through data, tools, and technology. And so today we have the tool, we have the lever device. We're coming live here soon with more of like the insights and the data. And so we're building the technology arm right now to kind of build this ecosystem that we're planning on. So our real goal, like last 7 years, again, kind of proving it out, making sure there was demand for it in the space. And now these next 7 years, now that we've seen it, now that we know there's, 10s, 20s, 30 million people a year, suffering from overuse injuries. It's like, let's go. We have the data now. Like, let's go actually help people avoid them in the first place. So that's what we're trying to do.
I think that's kind of what really made me want to do a lot with you guys, is because you're looking ahead. Like preventative stuff is like why I even really care about rhythm health, because getting a grasp on your monthly blood data can help solve issues that you might have. And, this has been a really kind of weird year for Real Triathlon Squad for some of our pros. Like last year I broke my femur and came back with the lever, but now we've got like Lisa having a little bit of a neuroma on her foot. Jackson's had a bit of a hip issue. We don't even know what it is. Garrick's had Achilles issues. I think as we expect our bodies to perform more and faster and more racing and traveling and all that stuff, like we're just compromising a lot. And I think what you all are doing is getting ahead of it. So for sure, that's why like you have everything that I can do to help people understand the benefit of proactively getting ahead of these issues. So you're not on the bench wasting your time and energy in race results. Like it's got to be pretty cool. I bet the testimonials have been pretty cool too. Do you get to talk to a lot of people who've been successful with it?
Yeah. I honestly, like, that's my favorite part of the job, is just talking to people and our customers. I just talked to a guy the other day that has not been able to run since 2011. And
oh my God.
And he was running for the first time. And he was like, just the emotional and the mental like capacity that this brings back to me, and like health this brings back to me, is just like unreal, because he's just missed running so much. And then we also have, everyone here knows who Laura Phillip is, right? We've worked with, Sebastian Kienle, Laura Phillip, almost since the beginning of our company. And she came to us because she was injured 6.5, almost 7 years ago. And since then, she's been offloading at least one run per week, if not two or so, and their recovery runs or their like threshold work, depending on the time of season. And she hasn't been injured in the last 6.5, 7 years. Again, knock on wood. I got a wood desk right here, but it's been really cool. Like talking to her husband who coaches her, like they are.
Oh, he's awesome. They're lovely.
They're
people
really
also.
great. They're really great. And so just getting to like dive into the community a bit more and really add value and help people has been really fun. So yeah, Philip has said all the time, every time I talk to him, like lever is one of the biggest reasons why she's been so consistent over the last 7 years. Is if she has any niggle or anything that's kind of like upsetting her, like she'll just offload more days in a row and like wait till it goes away and then come back to full training again. So,
and she's not losing anything in that period of time either. She may miss a key session that's like over threshold or something with full impact, but like the frequency is the key with running, not always just sending it.
Yeah, exactly. A couple of weeks setback at that level, right? Like you can't get those training weeks back. So
you would never know this either, but I've got a buddy of mine from my Air Force triathlon days who he was like a Thunderbird pilot. Now he's an astronaut with SpaceX, and he reached out and he was like, "Hey, do you have like can we get a hookup with Lever?" And it was for his daughter, and so we're helping an astronaut and his daughter with running too, man. Like it's pretty crazy what you guys are doing. You didn't even know it.
That's cool. No, I did not know that. That's really cool. The what's funny too is coming full circle is the original body weight support device was like developed alongside NASA for the astronauts.
Wow.
So there we go. It's a full circle thing, It's pretty cool.
How many It does. I don't feel like I see a lot of marketing aside from AlterG. That was probably most people's experience is like an anti-gravity treadmill.
Mm-hmm.
You have to go see a physical therapist and they have to prescribe time and energy. And then they charge you a lot. Sometimes insurance doesn't even do anything. So the fee associated with AlterG is usually, I don't know, 80 to 100 and something dollars per 2 sessions or something. It's pretty expensive.
Yeah. Or even per session, depending on where you live. And that's AlterG was my first experience with the technology. So I ran in college, and my track program had 2 AlterGs for the track and field team. And so I wasn't injured, thankfully, but we used it from a workout from a performance standpoint. And so kind of like seeing the fatigue there, the coach saw our fatigue and he was like, okay, instead of an overground workout, we're going to just do your threshold work on the AlterG. So I got to see it throughout college, which was really cool. And like you said, the AlterG really brought this path forward alongside NASA and developing this technology. And then it's just inaccessible for a lot of people. And so when I moved to Boulder and realized like, man, some of my friends are some of the best athletes in the world and they can't even get access to an AlterG. This is crazy. And so that's what kicked off the idea of trying to create something that was consumer friendly.
Who had like within your, lever platform, who had the science and the engineering behind it? Like who kind of had the conception about all this stuff?
So my co-founder is an engineer. So he was an engineer at CU. So it was really cool. It was like early days developing the product. We worked alongside of CU and did some research with them as well as we were getting the company started. And so, yeah, he's been like the front runner on that side of things.
How has it been kind of getting into, like you said 7 years, but I think now we're seeing a lot of push and traction, a lot more marketing too. How long did it take to get to the point where you're like, all right, we need to attack high performance and also like in triathlon? How long did that kind of take?
Yeah. So if people remember 7 years ago, 2019 was a different time.
I know. I just moved to St. George in 2019, man. I can't believe it.
Well, yeah. Kudos on you for getting into a house before 2020, right? So that's the good.
Yeah, right. What a crazy time.
So 2019, we got the company started as really a hobby. So we helped a couple friends locally. I think Morgan Pearson jumped on one of the early ones. Yeah, man, isn't that Morgan crazy? Pearson. So Morgan, again, a couple other friends as well that were runners. And so, yeah, we just kind of got it started, soft launched it. And then pretty quickly, the people that were searching for it found it, which was weird. Like our first 5 units, I should say, like one went to Laura Phillip, one went to Dathan Ritzenhein, like one went to Parker. And so it's like we worked with like pretty solid athletes around the world in our first 5 units. And then we were like, okay, there might be something here, which was really cool. But again, it's still a hobby. It was still a hobby for the first like year or so. And then, COVID, the pandemic happened early 2020, which kind of shut things down for us. So, it kind of stayed a hobby for a while. We were working other jobs at the time that were paying our salaries. So we were just like keeping it alive and keeping it going down the road, but didn't push too hard until probably about 2021 ish or so. We just started seeing, all right, this has some legs. We need to invest the time and the resources to make this thing work. So that's when.
You've been doing a lot of your own podcasting and stuff, haven't you? I think I've seen either that or just interview style stuff for content. But I feel like I've seen you talking and telling a lot of stories about professional runners. Like it seems like you really immersed yourself. How's that been? What's been so profound about it? Yeah,
so we did a podcast for about a year, and I'd like to bring it back someday. As you know, being in the podcast space, like you want to make sure that you have the right content delivery that brings value to your community. And so we went for it. It was a lot of fun. The conversations were great. And we're just telling those same stories in a different format right now. And so we're kind of focused a little bit more on like kind of the blog format, and SEO is a big thing. It still is, but a big thing years and decades ago. And now AEO, this, answer engine optimization with all the AI that's out there. So we're kind of getting back into that space a bit more. So making sure things are able to be found very easily online. So that's our focus right now.
Yeah, it's noisy out there, and it's tough to like make anything stick more than like a couple of months, because then it's quickly washed over by the waves of all the other noise out there. I mean, especially within our sport, people will say, I mean, anything they can. I mean, I'm part of that too. Like, I have to represent brands and say things that I believe in and try to have people listen. Like, what have you found that really turns the wheel for you all to grab some attention and get traction? What is it, like the professional athlete? Is it just the day-to-day people who, what makes the difference?
Well, yeah, what makes the difference is both, right? I think we have to tell both stories. I think for a while we spent too much time just focusing on the professional athlete and not telling the everyday athlete story. And so we've transitioned to that a bit more over the last couple of years. Because I think for us, and this is one of the pieces on the technology part that we are coming out with here soon, is just I've realized over the last 7 years, we haven't done a really good job educating and helping people understand very quickly and easily how to incorporate the device for their needs. And so that's kind of that space that we're moving into now, is like, I want anybody that sees our website, or let's say gets our product, to be able to like quickly understand the incorporation side of it, and for their goals, their injury history, and like who they are as the athlete. And so that's what we're kind of pushing towards right now. But yeah, those everyday athlete stories are awesome. I think those are really inspiring, especially when people come up to you like at expos and stuff, and they're like, you don't know who I am, but this is like how you helped me like get ready for this race, which is really cool. So
I think I make a point to take the Lever Go system to my local gym. And I always get the very end treadmill, and there's like a walking track around all the treadmills upstairs. And so people have to go by me if they're on the track every lap. And the most common questions are from people over 50 years old who have not been able to run. They've had issues with their knees. They've maybe got to start late in life. And those are the biggest questions: is what does this thing do? And I really take a lot of pride in setting it up and running on it. And it feels like somebody asking me about it, I could change their running life too. So it's pretty empowering to be able to have a lot of questions come our way when we're just using it. I'm sure other pro athletes get all kinds of questions too.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially when you go to a gym, because it's like, what's that funky, wonky looking contraption? I was talking to somebody the other day who's a very high end athlete as well, like yourself. And they were at the gym using it. And the first question somebody asked them was like, is that to help you like not fall on the treadmill? And they're like, no. And so they explained what it was for. They're like, I can run on a treadmill without falling, but I've done that many times. But yeah, it's funny. People have people see it and just like really don't know what it is. It doesn't click right away.
Now, scalability wise, like, would you see treadmill manufacturers incorporating some like just an arm sequence that can pop up and you can just bring a elastic band? Like, is that somewhere in the future?
Yeah. So we've got a version 3 coming out later this year. And so we've been prototyping it right now. And that's really the goal, is to go upstream and work on the manufacturing side. We've got really good relationships in the treadmill space. And so, yeah, our goal is just to get on a handful of the manufacturers earlier on in the process. So yeah. And we actually, what's really cool too, is you can't even look at our product. Like, we have a completely new design for what we're coming out with, which is really cool. It's going to be awesome. So I know this is like 4 or 5 months away, but it's really cool. So I'm excited.
Is there any carbon fiber?
Carbon fiber? No, there's super lightweight material, but no carbon fiber. Yeah, so we
That'll happen one day. You're going to probably sell the super crazy elite version for $3,000, all carbon fiber, endorsed by Formula One.
That'd be pretty cool. That'd be pretty cool. Yeah, we care a lot about strength, right? Like we do care a lot about strength. So we do stick to aluminum these days because it's super lightweight, but also very strong. But yeah,
yes,
that's good.
What are some of the biggest hurdles you've kind of had to overcome in the last year?
Yeah, that's a great question. The last year, from a business standpoint, I would say right now for us, it is how and where to allocate resources. Like we are not, I'm really proud of where the company's at. We've hit some big milestones in the last year, but like as we grow, we are, and we work in a lot of different lanes, right? And so like we're trying to do the best that we absolutely can in the triathlon space. We want to partner and invest in athletes in that space. We want have the same interest and excitement in the running category. And not only running category, but you have track, you have the road scene with marathons, you have the trail scene. And then we're seeing a lot of interest, in just crazy other places. Well, this one's not crazy, but the collegiate space, like the military space, the police forces around the world. So we're seeing it's how do we, I'd say that right now, my whole mindset is like, how do we still focus and really do good work in the spaces that like we serve people in, without spreading ourselves too thin. And I think we've like caught ourselves a bit over last year, spreading ourselves a little bit too thin, and we have not done a really good job telling good stories. And so we're coming back to that.
Oh man. Don't I know about spreading yourself too thin, bud? I feel you. I mean, I've had to rein myself in and just kind of like write on my hand in permanent marker, like take care of what you have right now. Like just stop trying to find new lanes and chase new rabbits out there. Like you just got to build really, really good foundations for everything that's working right now. And I've really had to focus on that, but still get so excited about new stuff.
Oh yeah, I'm a rabbit hole chaser for sure. Like if I have an idea, I just want to go down the path, and usually have to course correct. But it's part of the fun of it, right? It's part of the flexibility and the freedom of it too.
So what is your like typical athlete, structure like with who's working with lever, who's kind of on board and who's kind of carrying the flag for you all? What are some of the cool big names?
Yeah. So, man, I feel like it depends on what you're asking. Like we have a pretty small ongoing team. So like since kind of almost day one, like Laura Phillips been with us and she's awesome. So she's an ongoing partner with ours. And there's a few others that we keep like, that we've done. Steph Clutterbuck, we support, Matt Hansen, not currently, on the support side, but I would say he's become a good friend over the last few years. And so I actually just emailed him yesterday. He hasn't responded.
You got to love Matt. He's like one of the best guys in the sport. If Matt
listens to respond to my email, Matt, I emailed you yesterday.
I'll text him. He's been texting me the other day. I'll get back to him.
No, I just checking in and see how he's doing, if we could help him with anything. But there's just such good relationships that have formed from the sport over the last 7 years. And so I think we like you asked, like who the athletes are these days. We do a lot of things on a one-off basis. And so, I've
seen Sam Long. I've seen him on a lot of ads.
Yeah. Sam has done stuff with us in the past. I mean, it's one of those things where it's like, I could probably give you 50 names. I mean, like last year, 7 out of the top 10 women at Kona used our product. So nice. Like it is becoming like the large majority at the top end of the sport. But who we're actively paying is like a smaller amount. So, yeah.
So like, what do you think age group athletes out there listening who've gone through like some trauma with their running, like who's a candidate for lever and what would you recommend for anybody who is the best case scenario for your product?
Well, to me, like best case scenario is athletes that aren't injured. Hopefully, they come to us and they want to stay healthy. Like that's best case scenario is, hopefully through either the stories that we tell or the athletes that we work with, and they see the stories around consistency and prehab and the importance of staying healthy. Like they come to us that way. But I mean, majority of athletes that we still see that come to us on the age group side, are typically coming from like an overuse injury. And so, that's the plantar fasciitis, Achilles tendinopathy, some of the knee stuff as well. And so I think IT band syndrome, there's a lot of injuries that we do work with really well in helping people come back to the sport in a safe, healthy, pain-free way. But yeah, ideally we work with people before they get injured and keep them healthy.
What does that protocol look like for like recommendations from Lever? Like if you're looking to get a system and use it, to deload some of your running, right? Is that it's not deload, it's unload or offload, right?
Yeah, honestly, deload,
offloaded running,
unload, they all sound good to me. It's pretty cool. Yeah.
Okay. What type of what type of ratio do you all recommend typically for medium to high volume runners?
When they're already healthy?
Yes.
Yeah. I think for us, it all comes back to the goal of the runner, right? And so if we're looking at just like a runner, and let's say they're an age group marathoner looking to get a Boston qualifier or something, that we typically see athletes being able to increase their run volume by like 10 to 15% or more, like being able to like with offloading. And so that's looking more like just adding extra runs. So maybe if 2 doubles a week and then maybe, splitting a long run. So we have a lot of our athletes that are more middle-aged that can't handle like a full 18, 20 miler anymore outdoors. They'll do like 10 outdoors, then 8 or 10 on the system. So they'll kind of split that. And then a lot of it too, that we're seeing is more of that speed work. So the threshold work on the system and being able to kind of push the body a little bit more because you're unloading or deloading or offloading, and you don't have the impact forces that will really kind of bang you up for the longer term.
We just had a question. We did a Q&A for this week's podcast because you'll go in conjunction with that probably a couple of days later. We had a couple questions come in. One of them was, should VO2 workouts for most triathletes kind of be eliminated just due to the injury risk? And, once you even get really, really fit and like you're running 6-minute miles at 130 beats per minute and like your thresholds need to be pushed to that like 5-minute and faster to get that VO2, you're really playing with fire, I think. Cause even sometimes I'll have to go do mile repeats. And in order to get my heart rate up to like 160s, 170s, I have to run like almost as fast as I can for a mile, and my knees will hurt a little bit afterwards and all that jargon. So I think it's really advantageous to get that neuromuscular adaptation, running really over speed without the freaking impact on your joints, especially, I'm turning 40 this year. And I think you really got to start thinking about, is it worth going to a track and working that peak physical and risking a race that you might not even go to just because you tweak something?
Yeah. Yeah. And honestly, like you're asking me the questions, but you're the one living it right now. So like, have you found that to be successful? Like, have you done your VO2 work with Lever? Have you done the upper end stuff yet or no?
I did when I first started coming back after my femur break. I was doing strides on it. I was doing, fast incline work. And it was really the only way I could do it at the time. I couldn't do it outside. I was too nervous. And I was still maybe 6 months or 4 months after when I just started running. But I had the crazy thing is my left hip, the one that I broke, was pretty much fine this entire time on the healing status. But my right hip and hip flexor, from having to do all of the single leg lifts off the couch over and over and crutching, that was my hip flexor that was bothering me terribly for like 2 months. Anytime I'd push the pace on the road, I wouldn't be able to sustain it. I'd get an immediate catch and grab and it would just be pain. So I had to use a lever for that. And I do agree, like splitting runs up, it is tough to get to those 60, 70 mile weeks with, 8 to 15 hours of biking with all the swimming. So you have to kind of do a morning and evening session. And honestly, like splitting the sessions, living it has been super helpful. And even like my neighbor is our dietitian for our team, and it's on her treadmill right now because she's like, can I just try? I mean, my foot's been bothering me so bad, and she's been loving it. So like, I can't think of any runner at any level who would not benefit from having a lever access. It's just super good.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, appreciate you saying that. It's been really fun. Like kind of a space that really wasn't around, is starting to get a lot of traction, which is really cool. And I think
you might get some competition, bud.
Maybe. Hey, I'd welcome competition at this point, because it's like anything to keep pushing the use cases and the good that it's doing for the sport. Honestly, I don't think we can tackle the as big of the market as there really is, right? If there's like 50 million runners in the US alone, and how many hundreds of millions in the world, like there's room for everybody, right? So now we do have a patent, so watch out.
Yeah, I was going to ask if that was lockdown.
Yeah, exactly. China. But yeah, no, it's really cool. I think the thing for us is, and you kind of hit the nail on the head there when you said like gave it to your neighbor and they tried it, and that's when the light bulbs go off. And for us in this next season, it's like, how do we go? We built this company as an e-com, direct-to-consumer company. How do we go from that to helping people experience this for themselves, like, and before they're even a customer? And so, like, we want more light bulbs to go off, and that's really that next phase of where we're trying to go to. Is
let's do some demo days, man. I'll set up the lever at my local gym. We'll get some shorts out there. Let's do some demos, man.
Easy enough. Yeah, you can just be like a local retail rep for us or something, right? Like that works out great. One more rabbit hole.
I don't want to chase. I'll just give them they can scan my QR code and buy directly from the website. Hey, so how do you feel about carbon shoes in terms of injury? Do you feel like you've seen a lot more of that in the carbon shoe range now that we're all on them?
I would say for sure on the Achilles standpoint. The Achilles is taking a beating right now from a lot of the carbon work. I would say I've seen people, which you've probably seen also, just doing everyday life in them. So not just running, but just on their walks, airporting, expos. Like, it's just the carbon shoes are everywhere and they feel great. But are they the best thing,
Man, they don't feel great to walk around in normally, though. I don't
depends on the shoe. I feel like they do. I mean, it depends on which one you're walking in. But
okay, well, specifically the Alpha Fly. I've never walked around in that and felt like I wasn't like unstable and about to roll my ankle. Like running in it, you're just rock solid, but just the regular walking feels awkward.
That is true. I think Adidas has some that are a little bit, not their newer ones, but like their older ones that were a little bit more comfortable to walk in. But I mean, we're seeing a bunch of Achilles stuff pop up because of them. Is that what Garrett has right now? Is it because of carbon shoe or?
His Achilles has just been bad for a long time. He'll just same thing with like our good buddy Cody Beals, just randomly has an Achilles issue. It's just tough, I think, because I came from a different background. I was like a power lifter and I came from a lot of bulk. So I think I did myself a good service and was 24 when I started this sport, and I was already losing muscle mass and keeping my tensile strength at the same time. So I went through some Achilles issues randomly, but like honestly, rock solid, man. And I think once we look at ourselves as runners and kind of assess our major areas of weakness, for the video, like working with Paul, the balanced runner, like having some of those techniques come into play. Like there's so much really good data out there for everybody to be able to shore up a little bit of their running technique, I think, just through knowledge.
Yeah. And I think you also hit the nail on the head with talking about strength. Like strength is so important. And like you mentioned around cycling 8 to 15 hours a week, swimming on top of it, and then trying to hit a 60 to 70 mile running week. It's like, where's the time for the strength? But you like, if it were me, I'd back off an hour or two out of all three of them just for some strength throughout the week, if you don't have time for it. But yeah, I think this next iteration, I know a lot of the RTS squad is banged up right now. We've done a decent amount of work with Mark Dubrick over the last couple of months, which is,
yeah, he's really been thriving with everything you guys have put him through too.
Yeah, and it's been really cool to see him bounce back from the bone stress injury. And he kind of has that perfect transition too, right? Like he used it, I think, almost every run for 2 weeks on his like return to run protocol. And then now he's like offloading recovery runs after like major workouts. And so that's a great example of like how to use the product, which is really cool. But yeah, I think consistency, getting back to it, like if you can eliminate setbacks or as much as possible, eliminate a setback, like that's the most important thing in the endurance world. And so the consistent athlete is, 8-9 times out of 10 going to be the athlete that does really well. Not necessarily winning, but at least performing and hitting the goals that you want to hit.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a good advocate and a good example of that. Like I've never been more than a couple years at the higher end of really the sport. And now, as I'm aging, it's getting different, but like I'm still really competitive compared to my peers and to where I was even. Like I'm still doing things that are faster than I did when I was 36 years old. And I was just chasing volume and different protocols. And I kind of was just all over the place, and it took me a while to get it. But now I do understand that consistency level is absolutely vital to longevity, and also to love this sport. I just love the sport and the lifestyle. Even if I'm not the best I could ever be in my entire life, I still going to do it.
Yeah, I honestly think we're getting back to like kind of the Bill Bowerman quotes about like recovery, right? Like we're getting back into really focusing on recovery. It's always been important. It's always been there, but like, I think that's the space that we play in a lot. And I even view recovery from the standpoint of just not beating your body up as much. And so like that could be a threshold run on our system is still in a way acting as some recovery, because it's not destroying your joints, your tendons, ligaments, bones. You're still getting like the work in and the volume in, but just not the pounding. And so, I think we're definitely seeing a lot of that transition as well, like back into hyper-focused in the recovery world.
Yeah. Jackson would always say like, there's no such thing as a recovery run. And, you probably have an argument with him now to say like, well, and probably we should mention too, at this point, most people are like, well, how do you know how much body weight you're taking off? But like there's a scale built into some of your units, and it's controlled with an app. You can connect it to your Bluetooth, and you can see how much body weight in real time you've taken off of your device with the lever device. So that's something you can actually use as a recovery run. For sure. Yeah. And I think just to touch on it real quick, is healthy runners that are doing recovery stuff, like 10 to 15% is all you really need to reduce. You don't have to reduce a lot more to get really good benefits from it. But a lot of the return to run protocols start around like 30% off. And so the return to run, if you're injured, you start around 30% off and then kind of work your way down in 5% increments over time, over like a 6 to 8 week return to run plan. But yeah, the healthy runners. I'd be curious, how are you using it right now? I know you had a great race at Chattanooga, 11th. You're getting ready for Roth. Like, what does it look like incorporated into your training right now? So I will do pretty much what we've already talked about, where it's either for some reason we're doing a lot of bricks right now in the heat too, because why not? So I'll get off of like a 4 or 5 hour ride, and I'll always do at least 30 to 45 minutes, just kind of chill in my neighborhood when it's like 80 to 100 degrees for some passive heat prep, still low heart rate. And then let's say later on in the day, if it's shorter morning, then it's just too hot to run anywhere else except for the treadmill. It's 106 degrees or something. So then I'll do my second run on with the lever, and then I'll add some strides, or I'll add some leg speed. So that's kind of how I'll use it. I'll probably say 20% of my running is definitely augmented by the runner, maybe even up to 30. So it adds, like, as you said, that 10 to 15% of my remaining volume. So I don't know, some runners are the craziest people in the entire space, by the way, because I haven't never met a triathlete who's like, I have to run 100 miles a week. But I've met every runner ever who's like, I got to go 80 miles or I suck, or I have to run 100K a week or I suck. So OCD runners, like, you need to hear this. If you're that insane about having to run the volume, then, or the mileage, I guess, like, you need to augment some of that. Like, it's helped me a lot. I mean, I'm not going to say I don't get injured. I still have, my knee gets a little sore here and there, or, you know, there's not a day that I wake up where I don't have like a little tenderfoot going on or something, but I keep going because my body just heals fast, and the recovery aspects of lever allow it to happen.
Well, that's one of the most important parts, right? Like, all the tendon injuries need load to recover.
Yep.
And so you can't take off. Like, the Achilles issues with your buddies right now, like Jackson Garrett's, like, you can't actually take off.
Yeah.
And so you actually have to, like, put load on the body in a very smart way, to be able to heal faster. So, you want to increase the blood flow and all that stuff too. But yeah, no, I'm with you there.
So I got a couple random questions, and you can spend as little time as you want on answering them. Is the quote, just listen to your body kind of advice, is that the worst advice ever given to endurance athletes?
Oh, that's a good, where are these from? Did you make these up? Are these like
I come up with a couple good questions and I think about them, not just ChatGPT. Sometimes on the podcast I do, but not this time.
Honestly, I don't think it is the worst advice. I feel like that was a leading question. But I'm going to go the opposite way and say, I think if you threw away all the little data sensors that are telling you things and you just ran, you'd be really happy and you would enjoy it. Maybe you wouldn't get as much out of your body as you'd want to, but I don't know. That's a good question.
I do like the no look or the no watch runs. I do like that. I like telling people to run a distance that they know, and just, it's usually 5 miles or something, and don't take a watch and run it however you want.
It's amazing how freeing that is. I don't do it very often, but like whenever I do it, just because I've like forgot to charge my watch or something, I'm like, that was really nice. You think a lot more.
Yeah.
Like your mind, your thoughts are, it's not like you're daydreaming. It's just, it's productive. But and then your body feels good.
It takes the weight off.
That's right.
I got another one for you too. So a lot of people just can't stay on the treadmill. And so do you think lever helps the treadmill get more of a cool factor?
I'd hope so. I've actually heard a lot of customers say they did not run on the treadmill until they got a lever system, and now they actually really enjoy the treadmill. So yes, I 100% agree with that statement.
Yeah. I think most runners, they could be one bad decision from an injury on many days. So I think if nothing else, like, you're aware, you've got a backup plan, and you don't have to feel bad about running on the treadmill.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the thing. And you've probably seen in your career, it's like when you're at your like peak fitness is when you're the closest to injury, which is the scary part.
That is the scary part, because one little rolled ankle off a curb, doesn't matter how fit you are.
Yeah. One bike crash. Right?
Yeah. I think, don't crash. I think in closing, it'd be good to kind of hear, like, what is your vision for lever? Like, I typically am the opposite of that. And you might be like me, where I'm like, I don't really think too far ahead about much, because I just listen to my gut and I go with the flow. But if you have a vision for lever, I'd like to hear what it is.
Yeah, that's a great question. I mentioned the last 7 years, what we've been focused on. And again, the next 7 years are really focused on building out this ecosystem technology, the tool and the data to do everything that we can to eliminate as many overuse injuries as possible. A lot of them come back often for for individuals. And so we want to arm all of our customers with everything they need to really avoid them in the future, which is the main goal.
What message would you give coaches? Because they're the ones who communicate with their athletes, who are teaching young track athletes. They're the ones who are prescribing all of this run volume. They're the ones who have the best way to make an impact and to help promote your product. What would you tell them?
Yeah. What I would tell them is, I think I failed you. We need to do a better job of providing you with the education for you to take to your athletes. What we've seen with coaches that have used the system for themselves first, understand how it kind of affects their own training and impacts their own training, and then be able to use it in coaching their athletes, has left their athletes like accomplishing goals. It's left their athletes healthier. And what that does for the coach is it keeps them coaching the athlete, right? Because a lot of injured athletes end up piecing out if they know they're going to be out of the sport for a couple months. And so, yeah, ultimately, one of my goals for this year is to come out with a lot more education for coaches. And we're building out a little workshop to go do that. So I think the education piece is huge. But yeah, again, there's an athlete in the ultra space. He's won UTMB a couple times, like extremely, extremely talented athlete. His coach got a lever system because he was using it, and he wanted to learn for himself what it was and how to then prescribe it for him. And so like, those are the types of coaches that I absolutely love, that are like, hey, I want my athlete to be as good as possible. I need to figure out what this technology is and how to actually use it for myself so that I can now prescribe it in his training too.
Yeah, I really respect the hell out of coaches who are not just going to read something, get the data, and sit on the couch and make a decision based off of simply reading. And I like coaches who experience it, suffer with their athletes to some extent, and put themselves out there in a vulnerable position where they have to learn the hard way too, because they're asking athletes to do the same thing. And I'll say this because everyone knows I've got a potty mouth, but like, I've never trained it. I would never trust anybody more fucked up than me. I just wouldn't. Like, you've got to at least go further and faster than me if I'm really going to trust you.
Yeah. And I think coaches can't hide in the age of AI anymore. And so you need coaches, like you just mentioned, that take it a step further than the athlete's almost willing to go for themselves, so they can like be the best coach for the athlete. So yeah, I think AI is really going to be pushing coaches even more.
Well, because anybody can be a coach with AI and not have done anything. You just got to be like, devise a 30-week training program, and it will, and it'll be a good program.
Yeah. I mean, even for yourself, right? Like, you can go on there today and be like, give me the best 4 weeks till Roth setup.
Yeah. We know some athletes who've done that. And their names might rhyme with Schmeinel Manders.
I have no idea who you're talking about. But,
I don't know who that is either.
Yeah.
Well, cool, man. I can't wait to see what you guys bring out next. I know that our ecosystem has been thriving with the lever movement and education, the rolling circus of putting them all over the country. Just let us know what we need to do, man. You got an army. We're ready.
Let's go. I love it. Yeah. The Mountain West team, right?
That's right.
I love it. Well, thank you for having me on, Nick. I really appreciate it.
Yeah. Thanks, Brad. We'll get you back on probably when you launch, do some promo. And coaches, for real, if you're a coach, you need to really take a look at yourself and see how you can better help your athletes by getting involved with Lever. And if you need any advice that is unbiased, you've got a lot of good people who will tell you the truth. We're not just trying to sell you some stuff. That's never been my MO. So we want to only put our name and our reputation behind products that we use, we believe in, and the people like Brad who are doing the good work and trying to change the sport for the better. And they're not just here to take and make a buck. Like, this is a passion project. You've probably put a lot of your set your savings into it, your hopes and dreams into it. Like for you, this is a passion project, but it's got to pay the bills eventually. And so I hope we can help you do that.
Yeah, well, I appreciate it. We didn't even talk about, and we don't have to go down that rabbit hole, but the lawsuit that we had during COVID that like essentially cost an MBA.
Tell me about
That's
that real quick. I mean, we don't have to end on a great send off. Tell me about this lesson learned.
Oh man, no, it's when you want to be a mover and shaker in the space. Sometimes people don't like what you're doing, and so we got served a patent infringement case. And, we're still here to talk about it. So we're happy with the results of it. But, that was before any funding came in, and it was all coming out of our savings to get the company up and running. And it's exactly the same month that COVID hit. So sales dried up like literally completely. We weren't even a year-old company yet. And so, yeah, it's impressive how far you're willing to take some things, like we got to the point that we were like, okay, we might have to give this a couple more weeks and then we're out. But, but it all worked out. So
I'm glad it did. Good job with your perseverance. And, I'm here and our team is here because of companies like you guys supporting us too. So we really appreciate it, and we'll do anything we can for you, buddy. But until then, we'll get you back when you launch V3. Yeah. Super excited. And if you have anything that you want on a lever, if you want to save a buck or two, you got to join RTS Racing to take advantage of the offer that you have presented us. It's not something we'll just share for anybody because money's good to have. And if you want to earn some clout, you join RTS Racing, and we'll save you a lot of money because of it, because Brad has offered a little bit of a discount for you. So
that's awesome.
That's what we got. Thanks again, buddy. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.
I got ish to do, flying through the sky in my parachute, dancing on the couch like I'm Tommy Cruise on a one-man mission trying to see it.